Lisbon, Portugal is famously a city built on 7 hills. Standing proudly at the top of the hill above the historic Alfama district is the Castelo de São Jorge. Visible from almost all of the city center, the St. George Castle is a constant reminder of Lisbon's varied past and offers visitors incredible sweeping views of the city from Lisbon's highest point.
Castelo de São Jorge is a perfect example of a Gothic castle, and today it is an iconic symbol of the city of Lisbon, and tourists flock here to walk along these narrow pathways as well as up into the turrets. And it is on the highest hill here in the city of Lisbon, which is also known as the City of Seven Hills. But what is here now is very different than what was here when it first became a fortification. Since details of its origins are lost to history, at least so far, the site could very likely have been occupied by the Romans up until that empire collapsed in the early ADs. But archaeologists say that where the castle now sits used to be a fortification for the Moors who settled here, an Islamic settlement, and that was in the 700s. While it's unclear exactly when this castle was built, or at least the precursor to this castle, there was some kind of castle-like structure that was here in the 10th century AD. The reason they believe that is that not too long ago, there was an actual tombstone found embedded in one of the walls here in the castle that had a date in the 900s that referenced an Islamic fortress that stood right here where the castle is now. Today, the castle is a national monument, and as you can see, tourists like us and visitors walk all over these high walls, and in the background you may hear some peacocks, and they are actually descendants from Vasco da Gama's day and are said to be direct descendants of the peacocks he brought back here to celebrate his discoveries. So there's history even in the wildlife within Castelo St. Jorge. If you fast forward in Portuguese history to the year 1147, that's the year that Portugal reclaimed this site from the Moors. And that's the first time that there are references of an actual castle here. And that's because the king of the time, King D. Afonso III, was very big on the defense of the city of Lisbon and defending Portugal. Over the centuries, different kings came in and built on and added different things to the castle. So the way it looks today may not look like it had when it was originally conceived. It was in the 13th century that Castelo de Jorge actually became a royal palace, and this is where the royal family lived. And that they stayed here until they moved down to what is now Comercio Plaza down by the river in the 16th century. Now, the biggest thing that affected this beautiful castle was the earthquake of 1755. It almost completely destroyed it, and after that, it kind of became used as a military base. It was also used as a hospital. One of my favorite pieces of information from this location dates back to Vasco da Gama. It is said after he toured the world and went to India, he came here and was celebrated with King Dom Manuel I. So this is more than just a fortification, it was a cultural institution as well. Castelo de São Jorge is still an active archaeological site, and this is still an archaeological dig going on behind us. And what is directly behind me, just past that peacock, is what they believe is the original walls of the original palace that stood here. It dates back to the 12th century or so, but there's also a dig that goes as far back to the Iron Age, showing that humankind has been here for centuries upon centuries, long before Lisbon was an actual city and long before the castle was ever even conceived.
So we're at the Castelo de São Jorge, one of my favorite spots in the city.
Yes, the first thing you see whenever you get here, you see this amazing castle up on top of the highest hill, right in the middle.
And anywhere that you are in the city, you can basically find it. Well, most places.
Yeah.
My favorite square, the Praça de Figueira, one of the reasons I love it is that you look right up and there's the castle up on the hill. So it reminds you of the years and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of history. And this castles are cool. We lived in a city with a castle in Orlando, and we're happy to live in another city with a castle.
Yeah, and this one dates back, to the Islamic age, and it was reclaimed in 1147 by Portugal. So there's tons of history, and the fact that this is still an archaeological site is amazing. There's still signs of them digging. They're finding pieces of pottery. You can hear the peacocks that are all
Definitely
over
hear
this
the
place
peacocks.
as well,
Yeah.
which are allegedly directly descended from the peacocks that were brought here in the 16th century.
So I'm always happy when we can make a trip into this wonderful castle, which is up on the hill, like I said, seen from almost everywhere.
C'est ça votre base